Computer Science 20 students, moving on to Python lists. That's lesson number 14, and I have it for you right here. Okay, so lists are exactly what they say they are. They're a grouping of multiple entries, and you can put in strings, or you can put in numbers, whatever it is. You can work through them, then you can display them, you can loop them, you can print them, you can do all the stuff that we've done with all the other variables and things like that we've got. And relatively simple. We're building on all the other stuff that we've worked on. The instantiation of a list is very, very simple. So you can see that right here on line number 2. I've created a list called names, and then the value for the list using braces, or whatever you want to call these things. Okay, the square bracket. Okay, I call them braces. So inside the braces, you use, for strings, we're going to have to put quotations in. So I put in Luke, Anakin, Yoda. Okay, and then I use the command print len names. Now, first of all, I am going to comment out the majority of my course, or the majority of my program. Okay, so I have created my list called names, and then I have 3 entries in that list, and then I use the command print len names. That's not going to print out all of the contents of my list. All that's going to do is tell me how long the list names is. Okay, so you're going to just get a numeric value in that, and the answer is 3. Now remember, this is not the index. Okay, it's not saying how long it is based on the index, because if you use the index, spot 1 is 0, 1, 2. The actual length of this list is 3 entries. 1, 2, 3. Okay? If you want to print out the content of the list, and it's going to include your quotations and braces and commas, that's print names. Okay? So I bring that down, and when we run print names, it's going to give us 3, and then it prints out our list here and it includes everything. So this is not the cleanest way to display the information that's in that list. So we'll go through, that's it for that one, and we'll go through and see how we can print them out a little bit cleaner. Okay, if you want to append the list, so if you wanted to add something to the list, we can do that. So I've got my append here, and okay, so I have the names list here has 3 entries. When I run print len names, it says 3, and then it prints it out. I don't add the 4th entry until line 6. So when these commands are carried out on line 3 and 4, this list still only contains 3. Once I run it on line 6, once I run print names on line 7, it now contains 4 entries. So you can see it print 2 different times, and the second time is the only time that it prints. So the list, the append, doesn't take effect until after the line number that it was appended. Okay, so that's important to know. Okay, and there is a reason for that. There may be a time when you don't want an appended item in there, so you want to run some code on the list with only 3 entries, and then you want to start running some code on the list with 4 entries. So that's the reasoning behind that. Okay, printing individual names. This process is very similar to how we print individual characters in a string. We use the following code to print out individually. So we're going to use the index now. So if we run print names 1, which we have, let's take these ones out. Okay, so if we, I don't want to get rid of my OB1. So let's just comment that one by itself. Okay. So now when I run this, I'm still going to have the 4 entries into my list, and now I'm going to run print names 1. Now this is the index 1. So if you were guessing which one it would print out, I'm hoping you'd guess Anakin, because remember, the list starts at 0. Luke is 0, Anakin is 1, Yoda is 2. So when I run this, it grabs that one entry of Anakin and prints that out. So that's still a little bit cleaner. Now if you go back to here, you can, just like the slices that we use to print out different portions of a string, we can do the same too now. So if I say print names, start at point 0 and keep printing the names until line 2, then we get more names printed out and a little bit cleaner. Okay, so now it grabs 2 of them, and if we grab this last one and we say print names from spot 1, and then we leave the second spot blank, it just assumes you want to print out the remainder of the list. So now when I print that out, it could start at the spot I wanted it to start out and then print to the end of the list. Okay, so if I wanted to print out the whole list, I could set up a 0 there, which would just be this line of code anyway. So it doesn't make a ton of sense to have all of them. Okay. All right, going back to the lesson. Okay, I've gone through all of that. Lists and loops. Combining what you've learned from the last lesson, we're going to include a way to print them all out without the braces, the commas, the quotation marks, and each entry of the list on its own line. Okay, so this one probably looks the same as the loops lesson that we just went through. Here's our for keyword, and we're going to use an index in range. The start point is 0. The end point of the loop is the len names. Okay, and now because we're using the function len rather than an index number, we don't need to worry about a +1. So when we get the print names index, it's going to print out everything for us on its own line. Okay, each entry, including the appended item, is printed out on its own line in the loop. Okay, so another way to do that is just to use this, just like the other one. I want to show it to you this way so you understand your start point and your end points for your loop. But you can set it up this way and just say for name in names, print name. Okay, and then it'll print each, which I have set up here. Okay, so it'll print it for us twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's set this up for the next part. Okay, you can sort both strings and numbers. And when you use the names.sort, it's just going to sort, and then you run your loop. It's going to sort it based on alphabetical order. So I run names.sort. When it looks into the names list, it sees that, oh, names is a list of strings. I have to organize it alphabetically. So then it comes in and it prints it alphabetically. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, and there's the Y. Okay, so it prints it alphabetically. Numbers will sort a little bit differently, which is the next one, putting numbers in. So if I create a list called scores and I put these 4 numbers in, I could append it the same way, okay, and then I can print it out the same way. For score in scores, print score, and that'll print each number on its own list, or sorry, on its own line. So here's where I bring in my list called scores and all 4 entries in there, and then I say for score and scores, print score. Okay, and now it prints each one of them out onto its own line. Okay, so in the order that it was introduced into the list, 87, 99, 66, 9, 87, 99, 66, 9 on its own list. I think I'm missing a line of code in here. Okay, now we can apply the sort method to a list full of numbers. Scores.sort. Okay, so then when I put scores.sort in, it's now going to, because obviously it can't sort it alphabetically, it's going to sort it numerically. So now when I run it, this is my original list printed as they're introduced into the list, and then this one is numerically 99, then 9, then 66, 87, 99. Okay, that is how you put numbers and strings into a list. You can have mass amounts of data inside of a list, and you can pull that data out as you need it. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and that's it for this lesson.